So I've taken myself away from the driver scenario, especially in the last year, because I want to play and I don't want to be... What happens when I hit a driver is I get, like, the occasion takes over too much.
Okay.
So then I wallop it right most of the time, so it'll always balloon off that way.
All we're going to do is hit a shot in this posture, in this setup. Don't worry if it goes good or bad, it doesn't really matter at this point. Okay. I think we'll take it.
Wallop.
Wallop. So you've hit that 200 yards. Luke, how are you?
Good, set up for driving today.
Setting up for a driver, yeah. So we haven't done any driving yet.
No.
What's your experience of using a driver?
Limited, because it's erratic. So I've taken myself away from the driver scenario, especially in the last year, because I want to play and I don't want to be... What happens when I hit a driver is I get, like, the occasion takes over too much.
Okay.
So then I wallop it right most of the time, so it'll always balloon off that way.
Yeah.
So I've just taken it out of my bag. Started to use the hybrid again more recently, but obviously that's not a driver. So yeah, you'll never catch me with a driver at the moment.
Okay. So what would your confidence level be at with a driver?
Low.
Low.
Very
out of 10? 10's really confident, one isn't?
2, 3.
2 or 3, okay.
Yeah.
So if we can do something about that, that's definitely going to help. Any thoughts on using a driver? Do you need to swing totally different? Does the setup need to alter, do you think?
I guess it does a little bit, but I don't know how.
Okay.
So I'll wait for you to tell me that. And yeah, all I can really say on it is what it mentally does to
Which
me.
is?
It's just a lot different. I don't know, you've got more control, it feels like, with an iron.
Yeah.
It gets to a driver, it's bigger, it's more of a weapon. It's got like this grand element to it that just scares me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going to happen when I hit the ball and where it's going to go. And I described it before as you can know how to kick a football, but then you get to a penalty situation where there's pressure, and then suddenly, like, you can't kick a ball 12 yards where you want it to go, type of thing. And it gets into your mind games. And that's what happens to me with the driver.
Yeah.
So I do need a lot of work on it.
Okay, so I think let's grab a driver. What I'd like to do is just watch you hit a shot without me saying anything, because you might be amazing. We don't know. Just to see what I can see, I'm going to check. I'm going to check your setup out. I'm going to see if those things are right, but I'm not going to say anything on this one, and then we'll go through it all. And because there are some changes that we need to make in terms of setup.
Yeah.
And,
there's been a couple of things you've said in the last few weeks that I've probably remembered, and I'm going to use.
Yeah.
So this isn't me driving 3 months ago.
Got you.
As in, I remembered you saying to stand closer to it line with your left
Heel.
So
Yep.
I'll do that. From what I can remember, the swing's pretty much the same as what
Feels
we've
similar.
been doing.
Yep. Okay, right, let's watch you hit one and see what happens. Okay, so it's not gone off to the right, which is cool.
Yeah, to what I said it does. But it's done the same as what I'm doing with the irons.
It's gone a little bit left, yeah. So there's some issues that I can see in the golf swing that's causing that one. Did that swing feel similar to your iron swing or different?
Yeah, about 70%, but I feel like I'm still doing things wrong that I was doing with the iron. So
got you.
There's corrections to be made.
Yeah.
But no, I hit that better than I thought I would.
So you've hit it 175. Yes, it's gone off to the left, but you've actually hit it. I wasn't quite expecting you to swing that way. I was expecting it to be a bit more flat-footed. So because your old habit was to hit it more with the arms, when we get the driver in hands, it's quite common to see people going back to what I call default.
Yeah.
But there was elements in there that are exactly what we're looking for. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just go through the process of what we need to make sure you're doing right in the setup.
I have to be honest, I probably have to give you credit for that because I'm doing things that you've told me.
You are.
In passing and stuff like that. So you've probably got an unfair view of what my driving's actually like. I'm trying to be better.
Brilliant. So in terms of ball position, it's better to have the ball almost opposite your left heel.
Yep.
Now, if you just stand this side for me, I'll just show you a simple way that we can almost guarantee we're in line with our left heel. So if we start with our feet together, with the golf ball pretty much in the middle of your feet. If your left foot just moves almost the golf ball's width, and then your right foot drops back to the side, now we're guaranteeing the ball to be further forward in your stance. So sometimes if we just build our stance and it feels forward, it might not be quite in the right place. So this is just a simple way, just left foot a little bit and then right foot drops to the side. When you drop the right foot to the side, there'll also be a sensation of a bit of a weight transfer a little bit more onto your right side. So I'd like to see 60-40 in terms of weight distribution, rather than 50-50. So we're just slightly behind it. The reason we want the golf ball further forward in the stance is the bottom of the swing is generally in the middle of your body, and we want to catch this as the club's just starting to lift, so that hence we're hitting it more on the upswing rather than on what we call the downswing. So we want to be hitting this upwards. And then the final thing that I like to see with the driver setup, imagine if I was firing a bow and arrow, I want to point slightly upwards rather than my shoulders pointing down. So there's almost a sensation that your left shoulder's a little bit higher than your right in your setup. And now we're kind of presetting good impact positions almost, rather than kind of getting this way and having the ball too far back.
Thinking about that, I think I've seen people on the golf course when they're driving, they actually do have that.
There's a slight point upwards,
Yeah.
One thing that I do see people doing with driver, because we move the ball forward, it's really common as well for the shoulders to go too far to the left. Now this will affect what the club's doing in the backswing and the follow through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that your shoulders, hips, knees, toes are all nicely in alignment with where we want it to go and not pointing off to the left. It's just something that happens with driver when we move the ball forward. So let's see if we can get this set up right first. Can you hit one?
I want to see how much you slap it.
So you've caught me out there, Luke, because I haven't even had a practice swing today. So can you see how I'm just setting up? I hopefully looks like I'm pointing slightly upwards rather than down. Okay, so I'm not going to hit this full power because I haven't had many practice swings, but if we can start to get that swing feeling,
that camera paused on my face on that hit.
So it's gone all right, hasn't it? Yeah. So I'm still applying the same principles as we've been doing in this, but in terms of direction, height.
That's brilliant.
That was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Did that look like a lot of effort?
No, and that's what good drives do look like.
Yeah.
Not much effort.
My swing speed was 96 miles an hour, which is an okay swing speed. The ball's gone all right, but because my body's moving quite well, I didn't feel I have to put a lot of effort into it. So we're matching the engine up. We've got a powerful engine and a good steering wheel, hence we're going to hit some decent shots. So nice one to
255 yards. That's all right, wasn't it?
Okay, right. So first off, let's make sure that you're setting up correctly. We'll hit a shot with your driver set up. Brilliant. Okay. So because the club is physically longer than an iron, you're naturally stood a little bit further away from the golf ball.
Is that okay?
Okay, really good.
Okay, fine.
That all looks pretty good so far. Okay. So I would say that's a touch too much. So I'm being very picky, but there. And your right shoe, half a shoe wider. Done. Perfect. Does that feel a little bit more like a solid base?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. Your left shoulder, again, I've been very picky. I'm just getting that nice and square. So it's very easy to get the shoulders off to the left, but we're trying to avoid that. As I was just moving your shoulders there, I can definitely feel that the body's tightening up a little bit, which is totally understandable. So all we're going to do is hit a shot in this posture, in this setup. Don't worry if it goes good or bad. It doesn't really matter at this point. Okay. I think we'll take it.
Wallop.
Wallop. So you've hit that.
200
yards. It's gone to the right, but it's actually gone dead straight, just off, how far offline? We're 62 feet offline, so it's not horrendous. That would probably be on all the fairways. How would that shot look on a golf course to you, first tee shot?
I'd be buzzing.
You'd be buzzing, so you hit it 200 yards.
200 yards, it's not in the woods. It's not straight, but it's also, like, my second shot's going to be okay. Obviously, depending on the layout of the hole, but...
Yeah.
And that didn't feel like much that we did.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
We didn't
just
really
refining the setup from an iron to driver. I'm quite astonished how well you've hit that. I told you were good. You've got this natural ability, but you're working at it. You keep doing the good things. That's it. Let's try it that way.
Right.
Shall we try it again?
Consistency is the key, though, isn't it?
So, and that's why these little routines in setup there. That's it. So your width of stance fractionally wider than an iron, which is great. Left shoulder feels like it's pointing slightly upwards. Just okay, good. That's it. Yeah, good. Okay, let's give it a go.
Sorry about that one.
Tee's flown off a little bit, yeah, ball's gone. That's more familiar to what it probably used to do. So now that's down to the way that your body's not quite moving as well as it's going to in a minute. And then that makes it more difficult to straighten the club face up. So can you remember with the iron how we want the body to move?
Yeah, it's a twist top.
A twist, okay. So as you're doing that, if you just go to the top of your backswing for me, so I want you to get into your driver posture now. So imagine you're going to hit driver, so you're going to bend a little bit more from your hips. There, that's it, okay. So as you turn to the right now, what's your right hip doing?
Straightening.
So it's straightened and it's moved behind you.
Yeah.
And you've got a lovely shoulder turn there. So let's start again.
Is that not right?
No, it's good. So there, and I'm just going to slightly tweak your body upwards. That's it. And now turn into, that's it. So now you're twisting. Now, the reason for that, Luke, is when we turn, that helps move the club to what's called the inside of the ball. It helps the club move around the body. If you go to the right, we tend to lift the backswing, so it gets a bit steep. So we're looking for this lovely rotational movement, and that helps move the club on an easier angle to hit driver with. So that's it there, and then through. Lovely, brilliant.
And what I did on that one was, what did I do?
So your hip went this way. That's it. It kind of went over to there, and that won't feel anywhere near as powerful.
You've got a lot less movement,
and much more restrictive on the follow through as well. So we're just twisting. That's it. Turn. That's it, and go. There you go. There you go. That's the engine. Now we're firing up that 5-litre engine that you've got. Cool. Okay, shall we try it again?
Yes, please.
So again, don't worry too much if it goes offline. We're still just refining the movement.
Something really satisfying about a good drive, isn't there?
Very satisfying. You know, the amount of... I put quite a lot of content out on YouTube, and the ones sometimes that mean an awful lot to people that make a big difference are not the ones that get viewed. If you put anything with distance, people tend to like. So distance is important.
Yeah.
We know that, but we want distance and the ball to go where we want it to as well. So that's it. Yeah, that's a nice setup now. Looking great. Okay.
Whoa.
So could you feel your weight on your back foot or not? No. So it's kind of moved.
Don't know.
The foot's gone up, but it's not really all the way onto your toe. You've hit it 212 yards. So distance-wise, it's good. And that's because you were turning better.
Yeah.
So that's going to create more energy in the golf swing. But on the way down, the foot's just stayed a little bit. It's kind of gone up, but not really
not the full.
all the way through. Not the full Monte.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so could you have 2 practice swings for me? So, good. So you set up, you look like you set up to hit drive now. Turn, that's it. So you're going to turn all the way to the top, and then I want you to transfer your weight forward. And again. So just bring your right foot in a little bit. It's getting touched too wide. Bit more, bit more. That's it. There you go. That's going to help with a weight turn. Go. And again. Nice and relaxed. Turn. Yeah, so I'm watching the hips, they're rotating this way and then all the way through to finish.
How does that look?
It's looking like a nice golf swing now, we're getting there.
Closes his eyes, nods his head. We're going to get you to do this, Dom.
It's no good sitting behind the camera, is it? There we go.
See what you've learned.
Okay, good. Turn.
Still very right.
Better strike, wasn't it? But you see how the balance wasn't quite
Yeah,
right.
I'd gone off.
Yeah, good.
Hitting it into next week, look at me.
So you're definitely up distance-wise on what you would have been before, I'm guessing.
Yeah, massively. Well, then again, I didn't really use the driver, so I don't know what
Sure.
distance I would have been getting.
Probably a good one would have been around 150-ish.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have been straight, so...
So these are still going right. That's because
50
the
the
club
wrong
face
way.
is not quite right, but we'll fix that in a second. Good.
Oh, follow that line.
You can fix it now if you want to. Okay. So, 210, and you're 6 foot to the right of target. Fabulous. Yeah. How would that be on the golf course? Look at the smile. I'm going to take that cheeky smile off.
I have no words for that one.
Isn't it nice when you realise what you're capable of?
Yeah.
Rather than what we think we're capable of. Awesome.
But this just wouldn't have been possible if I, not to stroke your ego so much, but like if I didn't come to this and do this, I would have never have got this. Yeah. Yes, you can do lessons, but there's always, I guess, an element of you think you can just do it yourself, or like if you're not told that you're doing it completely wrong or whatever. So without this, then yeah, I wouldn't have had a chance in hell of hitting these like this.
But the nice thing is you were already able to do this. I'm just enabling it to happen. Yeah? So you're very, very capable as a person with the right instruction. Okay. Now it's got some authority into it. So
That's what I'm saying. It even sounded like Julian's.
okay. So you just
240.
240 yards.